Step 3, it's time to get your business finances organized. The first thing I would do after getting my LLC, aside from filing that trademark, which takes time, is to open up a business bank account. It's actually illegal to operate an LLC and not have a business bank account to operate it from. A lot of people don't know that, and no one will tell you that. When I first started, immediately after getting legal with an LLC, I turned around and opened a fee-free business bank account. Now, you'll also need an EIN number to do so, okay? So when you first go to open that business bank account, they're going to ask you for that EIN and they're going to ask you for your articles of incorporation. While I would love to recommend a bank for you to use, they seem to get acquired and close and reopen and rename like every 6 weeks given the current climate. And so my main advice is find a free banking service or a low-cost one that has the small business owner in mind. Now, what I mean by that is look for an account that accepts mobile deposits, links with Plaid. It's a popular integration that many other banks and financial institutions use to move money, like Venmo and Zelle and like all of these different payment integration tools use Plaid oftentimes. Okay, so you want one that links with that. And then you also want that account to allow you to send and receive ACH payments and offers to send checks on your behalf. Another thing to note is that not all banks link with every financial management tool. I've learned this one the hard way. Check with the reviews and the minimum requirements to be sure that all of those components are going to work together seamlessly before setting and settling both on your bank and your financial management tool. Now, I had an experience. I had QuickBooks and I had Azlo. And Azlo closed. They got acquired by Citi, which got acquired by Pinnacle. It was like a whole nightmare for me because I had all of these debit cards from all of these accounts and access to none of them. It was freaking awful. But when it first got transferred, I had QuickBooks from the start. I started with HoneyBook, and then I had QuickBooks when my payments started getting beyond like the 5-figure mark. And so I switched to QuickBooks, and I had it for years. And then I had to switch bank accounts. Well, when I switched to the new bank that I use, what I didn't realize was that they didn't work with QuickBooks. And so then I had to quit and change my financial management tool. So all of my clients, I had to add all of their contacts back into the new system and migrate all of my tax information. And it was just a nightmare. So you want to make sure that everything is going to talk to it. So there's synergy that all of your tools and your bank accounts are going to talk to one another. From your personal bank, you want to be able to transfer money fairly quickly from your personal to your business and back and forth. That's helpful sometimes. You want to be able to link with different payment integration tools like Stripe and Plaid and Clover and Zelle and Cash App and Venmo and all of those. You want to have ease, and you don't need this extra little step of complication that you usually don't find out until it's too late. You don't need that. So from the start, you want to set up some sort of system that works. So once you've got a financial management tool and a business bank account in place, you can move forward. You want to set up a bomb-proof form of accounting from the get-go. This can be a simple Excel document or an accounting app like QuickBooks for Self-Employed, whatever you'll use to categorize your income, expenses, and mileage. Get in there and be religious about using it. I didn't do this right at first, and it created so many issues for me later. The headache later is always worse, my friend. It is always worse than the inconvenience of documenting everything as you go. Categorize your transactions, business or personal. Itemize exactly what they are. Is it mileage? Is it gas? Is it supplies? Is it hired labor, contract labor, shipping, postage? Write it all out or document it or categorize it in your app. To this day, I still oversee every categorization of every dollar in my business. Having some kind of accounting is a must because you're about to be profitable. You've committed to that by taking this course. Like I always say, people who pay attention. So it's about to happen for you because you've already put your money where your mouth is. You're already stepping forward. This is the next step for you. Okay. It doesn't have to be complex. It can just be an Excel sheet, but it needs to be accessible and friendly to you and the way that you understand data. I'm very visual. I like graphs and charts and like the way that, like the picture on the screen displays things. I do recommend starting in a Google Sheet so that you can access it anywhere and just creating a simple P&L, a profit and loss column for each month of the year. The left is profit, the right is loss, and that way you can find out your gross, your expenses, and then you find your net column for each month of the year. This is a free way for you to plug in your gross revenue minus your expenses and know exactly where your business stands each month, and you can watch it grow. Whether it's QuickBooks for self-employed or HoneyBook or Xero, you need to be able to see your business's finances at a glance. I want you to be successful from the start. This will only happen if you're intentional about documenting the money coming in and going out of your account. This takes 20 minutes to set up. And it's going to automate everything but sending the actual invoices. I love having more detail and using these apps because then I can look back and go, why did we spend $12,000 on supplies last month? Or, why is our labor cost really, really high? We need to take a look and see, what people are getting stuck on. So it gives me those insights and it helps me become a better manager and a better steward of the money that we have. So it takes 20 minutes, set it up. It's going to automate everything for you. I have used several tools, and although many come with great options for beautiful proposals and invoices and in-depth profit and loss statements, the most automated and simple option that I found, like AKA less work for me, has been the QuickBooks for self-employed because it learns the rules. Like, let's say you buy something from Joann's, like you're doing it one-on-one. It's like a one-person business and you're buying things from Joann's and you have to classify those purchases as supplies once. QuickBooks always remembers and it's always supplies from here on out. So it just takes note for the future. The downside about QuickBooks is that I noticed that when I had it, that it often held and profited from my funds for me for up to 2 weeks, which on principle just didn't sit right for me. It just didn't, because I don't know, if we get paid from a project and it was paid with a bank account, you shouldn't be holding my funds for a week. I have an issue with that. And so on principle, I had switched because of my bank because it didn't work. Another great option is Wave. It's won awards for ease of use. Accounting apps, they also estimate your quarterly tax payments for you, which is a huge game changer, knowing just how much you're going to be paying in taxes in real time. But I personally use Xero. It's working great for us. We have a lot of transactions each month, and it's been helpful. Whatever works best for you, whether it's passing off a fistful of receipts each month to an accountant or taking charge via a business finance app. They're so cheap, so just this basic step, it's going to make tax time and your monthly P&L statements a breeze. At the end of the year, you'll use one of these pieces of software. Your taxes are hypothetically already done. There's no big moment, there's no trauma. So if you're selling a product rather than a service, you're going to want to lean into a service like Shopify to keep track of income and inventory. And then at the end of the year, you'll simply export the revenue sheet and fill in the boxes with your accountant. I really want to encourage you to set up this system before you move forward with the module. Using an accounting app will also remind you when to make quarterly tax payments if you want to. Some even make them for you. All right, taxes. When you get into taxes, it comes down to a few questions. Are you selling a product on Etsy or doing alterations? Whether you're sewing for a product or a service, whether you're doing $100 a month in revenue or $100,000, you need to be ready to pay taxes on the money that you're bringing in. Some alterations shops, they stack tax on top of their alterations, which tax law says that they're supposed to. Some of them build it into the cost just to simplify the experience for people charging and paying. From hired help to tax time to helping you forecast your business, predictable revenue, accountants truly are worth their weight in gold. If you have the budget for one, you will probably come out ahead in the long run. For the first 3 years of my business, I did everything myself. like painfully and slowly. I thought that if I went to an accountant, I would probably pay like more taxes for some reason, not realizing that like they're making a flat fee anyways, and they love games. Like they like figuring it out and like setting you up to win too. So, for honestly, like I did everything. I don't suggest this. I truly believe that I would have been even more profitable had I tapped into higher level experience in this area instead of wiggling through it myself. So I would recommend make an appointment with an accountant in the same town as you so that you can get clear tax-wise for what you're going to sell. Products are taxed differently from services. So it's important to research exactly what you'll be paying, both on a state and federal tax level up front, so that you can factor this into your product and service pricing from the start. You don't want to reach the end of the year and realize that everything that you've been pricing to get by will not get you by because you hadn't paid taxes on it yet. What's more is that in some cases, you have to submit documentation for taxation monthly on products. Next, you can choose to pay quarterly taxes if you like. The age-old question has been, do I have to make quarterly payments? And I've been on the fence for a long time about this. I can't give you tax advice. I can share with you what I did and what happened. When I was new to running a business and managing smaller amounts of tax, it seemed in my best interest to make those payments throughout the year and breathe easy in January, knowing that if anything, I'd be getting a refund. Now, my reasoning for this was like, what happens if I have a windfall, but the rest of the year yields nothing? Like, what happens if I have unforeseen expenses pop up in March right before my taxes are due? I didn't want my neck on the line to pay a whole year's worth of taxes in one day or else pay interest. But when you break up your taxes into bite-sized chunks, it feels a lot less like Robinhood. And there are plenty of apps that can help estimate how much you owe. QuickBooks does it as well, and even assist you on submitting the payment to the IRS. QuickBooks had done this for me. I did that for 2 years. No, I didn't do it for the first year. I did it for the next 2 years. The opposing side to that argument, after having done it both ways, is that you are essentially, now I'm a big investor, okay? You are essentially giving the IRS an interest-free loan over the course of that year. They don't bonus you, like they don't give you a tax break for paying in quarterly payments. They're just like, ooh wee, you don't have to make a big payment at the end of the year. Let us lighten the load so that you don't have to be a good saver. Like that's how it kind of comes across. So in my eyes, I can yield far more than 1% by investing. So I now, these days, what I personally do is I hold on, I have the estimations and I set aside that much money and I save it. I make interest on it. So I'd prefer to hold on to that cash until the very end of the year when it's time to settle up with the IRS. So personally, I think it's more in my best interest to see what I owe in quarterly payments, and I'll pay my F&E taxes. But as far as the IRS goes, the annual revenue, like the income tax, I set it all aside and I pay at the end of the year because I don't understand why I should make an interest-free loan to the IRS across the year. So anyways, that's what I do. I cannot give you tax advice, but I can tell you that what I do and what's working for me. So now that you are a business owner, all of that income, you can transfer that into your bank account and it's called an owner's draw. All right. My best tip for keeping your books clean and simple, aside from categorizing business transactions as you go, is to not take an owner's draw until you've set aside taxes out of that income. So that way, everything that hits your personal account has already been taxed. Voila, clean and easy, because you deserve to bet on yourself. Take the right steps, make your sewing business legit. And remember, you can't get real results without taking massive action. These steps may sound costly and like a time suck right now, but it's the opposite. If you get legal with your business, it is the fastest way to become profitable. So now that you own a business, hey, congrats, business owner, and you are too legit to quit, we want to set you up to win. Let's go into buying a domain name.